Okay, hello, I'm live on the sesh. I keep saying that, bro.
Red flag, ladies and gentlemen. That's today's episode.
It's just so hard. It's like I feel like it's just embedded in me. If that's
no, I catch myself too.
Well, this is not the sesh. This is the Catchin Up Podcast. And do you think they ever did that, like, whenever George went from Impulsive or, like, you know, or somebody from Nelk, like, got fired? Like, do you think they're like, hey, this is the... Probably not, because it's, like, that's so much bigger. They would have cut it out, but...
Yeah, but do you think, like, are you asking, like, if I think they make that mistake in real life?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Probably. I'm like, especially if you were there for, like, over a year, I'm like, I feel like you have to at one point.
Well,
like,
if you're the person like
somewhere.
that makes the announcement, you know what I mean? I feel like usually in podcasts, it's usually like the same people doing. Like, I don't think George did the intro, did he? Or was it always Logan?
I honestly don't know, bro. I never listened to Impulsive.
Me neither. I've actually never watched the full episode. Fun fact.
Yeah, I've seen clips, but I've never like tuned into an episode.
Yeah, I don't know what their intro sounds like. Nothing.
But I hear they're going through some issues right now. I think with like Logan's schedule and like now he's having a baby. So like I don't know what's gonna happen with that.
It's okay. We'll replace him. No worries, bro. We got you. Logan, whenever you need to find yourself the next up-and-coming replacement for you, we're your guys. It's us.
But then we
no
just
need
have
to
to
look
talk
further.
Smack about people 24/7, bro. You
bro,
know?
we do that off camera anyways.
All right, well, we're going to start off this episode with a coffee review because we both were able to get different ones than what we've had on the podcast so far. So would you like to go first? You want me to go first?
I'll go first because I know I didn't take a sip of mine, and I know Tyler took a sip of his.
Let me know if this is wrong in the comments. So, like, we go and get the coffee, and then, you know, it usually takes anywhere from, like, 15, 30 minutes to start the episode after that.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I don't know how long it took you, but I'm like, listen, if I get an iced coffee, it's obviously going to be melted by the time I get home, or at least a little bit warmer. So I'm like, I'm trying to get at least a few fresh sips in, you know, before the episode.
This is why... Okay, well, fair.
This is why we're not friends.
No, fair. But to be fair, the last 2 times, I think... Oh, no, I think it was just the first time that I had the iced coffee. Yeah. I think I got it, ordered. Like, I think I, DoorDashed it. So it was, while I was setting up. So it wasn't bad.
That was so funny, though, bro, because that time you get that coffee from...
Double O's?
What is it?
Double O's or Juan Valdez?
Yeah, Double O's. It was like, you could see the layers in the...
that one I picked up, and then it took 30 minutes.
Mocha, cinnamon, hazelnut. Like, you could see the gradient.
Yo, good memory. Good memory. You just saw that clip, didn't you? No, just played. But anyway, so there's no logo on this cup, so just enjoy. Oh, I did take a picture of the top of it, and it'll make sense in a second. Because this is how I found out I was illiterate today. Not a Chili's, it's Achilles Art Cafe.
Bruh.
I literally was like, how do you pronounce this? He's like, Achilles. And I was like, yeah, I had a feeling it wasn't a Chili's. Anyways.
I mean, I can't say I wouldn't make that mistake.
It was ACH. So for me, it's like a ch. And then ILL.
Spelled, bro.
Oh, okay. Well, he said it was like the Greek god. And I was like, is that different than like my muscle? So then I started overthinking. So I'm just proving to the world that I'm dumb. It's okay. Anyway, so Achilles Art Cafe in Orlando. This is their creme brulee chai latte.
Oh, that's interesting. Because remember the one I got from that spot last time? It was the creme brulee. But it wasn't like a flavoring. It was just the actual flavor of the coffee.
See, this is white. No, sorry. Wow, I can't speak today. This is vanilla chai This is vanilla chai with whipped cream and then torched raw sugar on top, just like creme brulee. Yeah. And to the point that he gave it to me without the top because he was like, hey, if I were you, I would wait a second to put the top on because the cover might melt because the sugar was so hot. So that's why I took a picture of it. So I'll put it right here.
Crazy.
So yeah, cheers. I'm going to give it a little swirl to get some of that whipped cream and sugar mixed around because it doesn't even feel hot anymore. Also, I don't like hot coffee, but there's only one way to order this. One size, which I thought was interesting. You can't order medium, small, or large, and it has to be hot. So, cheers.
I feel like that's how it is with like more local coffee shops. Like they don't really give that many options. So like, this is what it is. Take it or leave it.
Okay, so I think it would be better if it was in a mug and it was fresh because I think the sugar just melted at this point. So it kind of just tastes like a regular chai latte. A good chai latte, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it's bad, but the creme brulee aspect, like if you handed me this, I would have never been like, is this creme brulee, bro? Like, you know? So yeah, really good chai latte, but it wasn't, I think it would be better if it was fresh. And yeah, so I still give it like a 7.5.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
I mean, and also you're working with a hot coffee, so obviously, like, it's probably not going to be up to your like, whenever I drink hot coffee, like, I can. It's not like I'm like, no, I won't touch it, right? Like, I'll drink it if it's the only option, but in comparison to ice, it just never tastes, like, as good for me,
Yeah.
He's like, I give it a 7.5.
No, I mean, it's still good. Like, it's a good chai latte. Like, if we're rating chai lattes, I'd give this like an 8, maybe an 8.5, honestly. Like, it's a really good chai latte. But it was just because of the creme brulee aspect was lacking.
Okay. Well, I actually decided I was going to go to the same spot that I went to last time I got that, like...
The underground coffee?
Crunch or something. Yeah. But I was like, no, let me go. So there's a place literally, like, right down the street from them called Eyes Peeled Coffee. And it's actually a little throwback because when I first moved to L.A., since it's, like, so close to my house, and it's a really, like, cool little spot to get editing done, that's where I would go and do a lot of my editing for the podcast when I first moved here. So I would go there, like, literally on a weekly basis. And then, once my schedule changed around a little bit, I stopped going there, and I didn't really, like, have a lot of time to, like, go there and edit anymore. I just wasn't on the side anymore because now usually on Wednesdays I'm over at my girlfriend's side. So I edited at a coffee shop over there, which there are a couple over there that I would love to review on here. But obviously it just doesn't work out like that a lot of the times. Anyway, so this place is called Eyes Peeled Coffee.
Bro, you ever like go down rabbit holes and then or someone goes down a rabbit hole and then you're like, what are we talking about? I just had that moment. I was like, wait, what? I was like, are we not rating coffee anymore? Did I just do that for no reason?
No, I am. I'm just saying. I was like, I
know.
like to do some from there.
That was good.
So this is Eyes Peeled Coffee. Eyes Peeled Coffee. And when I probably haven't been there in like a year, I would say.
That's the name of the place is Ice Peeled Coffee?
Eyes Peeled Coffee.
Oh, eyes like your...
Peeled, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That
like
sounds painful.
It does. But it's actually cool. They have a cool little logo. And when I went there before, they never had like, as far as I can remember, like a mocha. They just had like their specialties, which were good. But today they did have a mocha. And apparently, he said their mocha, they get the chocolate from this chocolate shop that's like next door to them to like make their own mocha syrup. Yeah. So.
The pretend fake first sip.
I mean, you can already see the cup is drinking. I swear I haven't tasted it yet.
It's the lighting.
Like, it's really good. You can actually tell that the chocolate is like, I guess you could say fresher than most mochas, because a lot of the times with mochas, you can, for me, like, and I love chocolate, so, it's not really a diminishing factor for me, but a lot of the times you can taste that it's like syrupy and just like, almost like, Nesquik or something.
Yeah, it's like
some
just
sort of
sugar.
just chocolate syrup. Yeah, this you can like it actually tastes like they melted chocolate and just kind of like poured some in there. I don't know if that's what they do, obviously, but it's light. It's not heavy. It's very like I don't know how to describe it more so than just like fresh tasting chocolate. It doesn't taste very chemically or like over processed. And it's really good. It's a really good cup of Joe.
Oh my
so
God.
I probably give this a from Mocha, which is typically one of my favorites. I probably give this like a 9 out of 10.
Really?
It's not perfect, but it's
question:
close.
Are you rating it more based on? Excuse me, more based on the chocolate aspect and how good and enriching, enhancing the chocolate itself is, or are you rating it based off the mixture of the chocolate with the coffee? Because sometimes coffee can be really bad, but all you taste is chocolate.
No, that's what I'm saying is like it's a really good balance. Like
Okay.
one isn't overpowering the other. So it's just like a really nice blend. It's light, it's refreshing. And like I said, usually mocha coffees are like sometimes I'm just like, all right, this is even too much for me. Like it takes me a little bit longer to drink it just because it's so heavy. And this one's not. So yeah, I really enjoy it. If you guys are ever in LA, it's over here in Culver City. Shouts
Whoop,
Culver
whoop.
City, best city in LA. Stop playing with us.
Yeah, I got attacked by a homeless woman the first day I was there.
Hey, that's the South Central side.
It was the border. I crossed the street and I was Culver City.
No, but it's actually funny because my roommate, her best friend is in town. So
She also got attacked?
No, not yet that I know of. But I feel like it's almost the equivalent of like what you are to me is what she is to her. And
Damn.
I was just, last night I was just like, dang, man, like that must be I was like, I miss that, man, like having your bestie in town and like just having a couple days off to like chill and like go out and explore and just like have fun. And, I'm like, dang, man, I'm like, it was a good time. Hopefully we could do that soon, bro.
Hopefully, bro. I miss that a lot too. I think about it a lot. Yeah, and I mean, you make friends as time goes on, but it's like
Sure,
I
sure.
feel like it's just different when it's like one of your best friends you get along with well. Very few friends you can actually get along with and work with well. I feel like at least I think we work well together. I don't know how Tyler feels, but
Hate this guy.
But it's all just because like communication, like. I don't know. It's cool that we have like so many memories together. I feel like in such a short amount of time because we knew each other for a long time, but I don't think we were friends for the first like maybe like 3 years of us knowing each other.
No, definitely, because we were just coworkers at first. We worked at a grocery store together. Humble beginnings.
Yeah,
and
for real.
Yeah, so it was like it was kind of like when you have that coworker who like you chat with at work, but like you don't hang out with, and like even for me, typically like a lot of the times, I feel like the people I work with, except for Publix was different. Like, but
our specific Publix too.
Yeah, I was like, I feel for a specific time, like we all didn't hang out, and then like it just kind of like over time like evolved to us. I don't even know when like that started happening, but like it is, yeah. But like at least for me in his case, like yeah, we were just like homies that went to work together, but I think like also because we do have like a couple year age gap too. So I think like
yeah, that was a big factor. You guys would want to go out, and I was like in high school.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That doesn't sound right, but exactly.
Yeah. Sorry, we're just like so like they'd be like just graduated, and I'd be like a junior or sophomore.
Yeah. So it was definitely just I think a little bit of that too, because obviously like we were in our college days and stuff, and then like you also like I think then at some point like joined up at our gym, and like at a certain point in time like. Going to the gym was mainly where like a lot of us hung out, like going to the gym and then hanging out after, getting some food or something. Like most of the time it wasn't like going out or just linking up to watch a movie. Like it was going to the gym and then going back to like my house and like watching a movie.
Or IHOP or Denny's.
Yeah.
Or, yeah.
So like for a lot of the time, like if you didn't come to the gym, like with us, like our specific gym, like, and we used to go late at like,
yeah. Like we'd get there at like 11 or 12 p.m.
Yeah. Cause we'd get off work around like 10:30. Sometimes him, cause he worked in stock, he wouldn't get off till like 11 and he'd be like, yo, wait for me. I'm like, bruh.
Yeah.
So, you know, it was just a different time, but yeah, it was cool to see like how looking back, how like it's evolutionized and progressed, and yeah, it's just crazy, man. It's like, cause I think, you know, obviously we're still good friends with like, I mean, you still live in Florida, but like I'm still very good friends with all of my homies back there. But obviously, like I feel like me and you have like retained the closest because we talk like every day.
Yeah.
And like most of the time, it's not like, I know we do the podcast and stuff too. So obviously, inherently, like we have to communicate at least on a weekly basis. But a lot of the times, it's not really about podcast stuff. So
or we'll start. Yo, you want to start at this time? Yeah, cool. I'm down for that. Let's switch this up. Let's do that. Cool. I bet. And then we'll have a normal conversation. It's never. I feel like it's very rare that we only talk about the podcast and like that's it.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's just interesting to see how like different relationships evolve over time with like different people who are in like different parts of their lives and like different areas, you know.
Bro,
but it's cool, man. It's like it's really cool to like be able to go back home, and I think like obviously, you know, messaging apps and social media apps play a huge part in being able to stay connected nowadays. But being able to go home and like, you know, still link up with your friends and like. It's, you know, you guys just connect right off the bat again. It's not like weird or anything. Who knows? That might change once people start having kids and stuff, bro. I don't know, you know, but.
All right. Yeah, you're right. Kids and also just like advancements in their careers. You know what I mean?
Sure,
like
exactly.
You know, we got a couple friends that are, you know, trying to be managers at their jobs, and we know that managers at those places, like, you live, breathe, sleep, eat that job. Like, that's all you do. Sure. You know what I mean? So, you know, it's crazy.
So shout out to them.
Plus, I'm curious to see, not that I don't think any of our friends, or at least our inner circle, would act any different, but I do know, I'm curious to see, like, whenever, you know, if the podcast starts being successful, or if you start, you know, landing some movies and some roles, and I start doing some music, or, you know, hopefully all three together, how people change, either perspective or how they treat you or expectations. Because I personally know that, like, the second you land a movie role, I'm not paying for anything when I visit. Like, at all. But like, I know that.
And then I'm going to have to show you the tax bill. I'm going to show you what my agency took. And I'm going to be like, bro, it's not as much as you think.
Yeah.
No, but I agree, because that's something that, like, obviously can change so many parts of, like, relationships in general with your family, with your friends, fame. And, you know, and it's also just the factor of, like, how much time, like, you know, right now, I mean, I can go back home, you know, hopefully twice a year, Christmas and then once in the summer. But, like, you know, even though you might think, oh, if he's, like, landing roles and he has more money, he might be able to. But it's like, well, what if, I mean, and, you know, hopefully this is how it goes. But, like, what if you're booked up back to back to back for an entire year? So it's like, yeah, you have, you know, money and you're working on something you love, but it could just take up so much of your time. Like, that's why Tom Holland ended up taking off a year of acting, because he's like, I wanted to go home and be normal. Like, I wanted to just hang out with friends. I wanted to see my family. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So sometimes it's like, yes, these career advancements can, and this is to whatever degree, right? Like, even you were saying, like, as a manager where some of our friends want to be managers at, it can take up a lot of their time and a lot of just, like, even just energy. Like, maybe they're off at 6, but they're like, man, I'm tired, or like, you know, I have a girlfriend. I got to spend time with her. You know, it's just like different career advancements, different relationship advancements. Like, you know, whether that's fame or not fame, you know, can lead to just busier lives and just the amount of energy you have or the things you want to expend your energy on. So it'll be interesting to see, man. I mean, we're definitely entering that age now. At least I am. I just turned 27, so I'm getting up there to that point where it's like, you know, things are going to be changing for everybody's life. You know, this is when, I mean, obviously for me and you, like in more so the arts field, it could take a lot. Like we don't know when it's going to happen for us. But for other people, it's like now, you know, you've seen they've been working at this specific thing for years. And there's
Yeah,
like
it's more of like a on track type of thing.
Yeah, you're on track to keep moving up. So we'll see, man. I don't know, but it'll be a very weird thing to experience. But you know, that's life, man. You just gotta roll with the flow and just keep moving. But hopefully, I really do hope that we can all stay good friends and, you know, at least stay on like a talking basis, you know.
Yeah.
Because you know, we got love and you know, just so many good memories together, man.
Yeah, I realize that I'm one of those people that like whenever like a friendship like ends badly or like, you know, like we have that one friend that just kind of like disappeared. Not like he's not missing. Like he's missing from like the friends and like no one knows where he's at, but like we know he's alive and he got married and all that stuff, but he just like ghosted everyone. Granted, is he happy? I don't know. But you know, like I always think about that like quite frequently because it's one of those things that like it just hurt. Like losing a friend, no matter like how close you are, like just sucks. And I think it's really cool that like our friend group has been, you know, we've all had our issues and our differences, but like none of us have ever been like, we're done. Like, don't talk to me anymore. For a long time. And like we've been friends for a long time. Like years and years. And like, and as life keeps changing, like it's never really changed too much. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, that's the thing, bro. I'm like, it does suck. And like, obviously I've had some over the years that like, you know, this person was a part of the group, you could say, and then they left for whatever reasons they see fit. But I think it's just a matter of like, I don't know, it's such a weird thing, like having respect for each other and also like understanding that like, you know, I feel like as you get older, because when you're younger, like in your early 20s, right, you're kind of, if somebody's like, nah, man, I can't go out tonight, you're like, bro, what? Like, come on, like, you got to come out, you know, versus like when you start to get a little bit later in your 20s, somebody's like, I can't go out, I got to do this, or like, I got to spend time with my family or my girl, or like, I have this gig I need to do. It's like, oh, okay, like, I understand. It's like, of course, I wish you were here. Like, we'd love to have you out, but like, at the same time, like, I get it. You're an adult. Like, you have other things to do besides hang out with me. You know, so you start to understand that and mature and gain a level of respect where it's like, well, our friend group isn't like the main, like that was what we did every night back in the day. We hung out. Like now, it's like,
that was
not
like our
the main
life
thing anymore. Yeah, so like it's just everybody's in a different phase of their life and just like respecting that. And even like sometimes when I go home, I can't see all my homies, but it's like I'm not mad at them for that. Like I understand they have stuff going on, they have lives, they have other things they have to do, and like, you know,
he's lying. He talks mad crap when you don't show up.
Always talking his back. No, but it's also like, bro, I'm like, if you think about it, like I'm the one who also like left. You know what I mean? So like, think about like sometimes I think about that. Like, what if I was the one who stayed and somebody else left? Like that would be really weird and like also hard because it's like, dang, I just lost a good homie of mine. But you know, I feel like we all do a good job.
Especially when his house was the home base.
Exactly. So. Yeah, it's weird, man. It's definitely a weird thing seeing it happen, but I feel like it's really cool that we have Snapchat memories nowadays, bro. I mean, not that you should be recording everything, but we have like you can go back now and like see all these good memories. Whereas like before, you know, I feel like those would just kind of fade away unless you have like a really good memory. But like,
for sure,
those things, you know how like reminds you on like on this day in 2015. I'm like, bro, I didn't remember that. Or it's like just some stupid stuff we were doing at the gym, or like, you know, when we were out to eat. You know, like some funny thing that was.
It's the little things.
Like, oh, like I remember that now. That was and it's really cool to be able to like look through those and see them, especially like as we start to get older and those memories get further and further away, or like when I do go home and like reconnect with everybody, like we can like reminisce over those and like look back at different memories that we each have. So it's a cool thing. And I think that is honestly one of the best features of Snapchat. I'm like, people don't use Snapchat, but I'm like, bro, it's got like, it's one of the only ones that I know that has like the memories thing, which I find really cool. Obviously, I'm not on there for streaks and stuff. Like, no. But so I think that's a really cool thing that like this generation has, as opposed to like previous ones. You know.
Yeah, man. We talk a lot, bro. It's already 25 minutes in. And we haven't played that intro yet, so
Oh my gosh, yeah, I played the intro.
here we go.
Metro!
Ladies and gentlemen, the show is about to start. Introducing Catchin Up Podcast.
Okay, so really quick, just a little speed round just to catch people up. Tyler, how was your birthday? Happy birthday.
Thank
Big
you,
2-7, basically
Yeah,
30,
this
might as
guy-
well retire, you know?
This guy
So-
wanted to go ahead and post on our social media, our Instagram, a high school photo. Like my mom has like our high school photos like on a mantle in our house. So I guess he took a picture of it at some point. He posted on our story on the Catchin Up Podcast Instagram, being like, "Join us in wishing Tyler a happy birthday." And when I woke up on my birthday, I go to my Facebook, and it's posted on my personal Facebook story. And it's like it looks like I posted a picture of myself saying "Join us in wishing," like in the third person. And I was like, bro, did my mom somehow get access to my Facebook account? Like, what is going on? And then and I deleted it because I was like, this is gonna look really weird. And then like 3 hours later, I see it was posted on the Catchin Up Podcast, and I was like, oh, that was Gabe. I was like, man.
Yeah.
But fortunately, I think like only 15 people saw the story. So I'm like, it is what it is. I don't really care. But it was just really funny because I was so confused. I was like, who did Facebook post this? Like, do they automatically do stories now and just find an old picture? I was like, what is going on? Anyways, aside from that,
So that was a good way to start it.
yeah, interesting way to start the day for sure. But other than that, it was really good, man. I got up and went to service with my girl. She made me a really nice breakfast too, which was sweet.
What'd she
And
make?
then just like an egg sandwich, with some
Nice.
turkey bacon, some chipotle mayo.
Oh, Chipotle mayo's fire, bro.
And yeah, so it was really, really good. And we went to service, which was awesome. And then what was I going? And then she had some auditions to record, Life of an Actor. So I just chilled and like watched movies. And while she was doing those, and then she bought some pizza for us from this place called Toppers out there in Santa Clarita. Bro, I gotta take you there. It's so good. It's probably one of my favorite pizza spots.
Yo, you better be writing these things down because it's like every
I'm keeping track.
episode.
I'm keeping track.
You're like, I gotta take
I
you
know.
here and show you this,
And then-
you gotta do
And then
that.
you're gonna come out, and I'm gonna be like, man, I don't know what to do. Like, you
Yeah,
wanna
bro,
go to the
I
mall?
swear that's exactly how it's gonna be.
And then we went to this barcade called Player One over in North Hollywood, and it was a lot of fun. It was just this like retro arcade / bar. They were doing karaoke. She made me a really cool scream cake, coconut chocolate.
That was really cool.
Which is like a great flavor. And we celebrated there with a bunch of friends. And I definitely want to go back to the arcade because it's really, really dope. Really cool little spot. And yeah, it was just a good time, man. I mean, that's what I like to do on my birthdays nowadays. I like to just go out, play games, have fun. I was thinking of doing like a trampoline park, but I thought that'd be a little bit harder to coordinate. So I was like, let me just see what other arcades are out there. And I'm glad I did because I really did enjoy the place. So yeah, it was chill. It was fun. It was, just my most important thing on my birthday is like being able to just spend it with like friends and family if I could. But obviously I don't live near any family. But yeah, just getting to have a good time with, the people in my life. So it was fun, man. It was a good time.
That's fire, bro. I'm happy that you're able to have fun. I'm glad that
And shout out to my co-host for giving me some money to play games. It was, came in
Yeah.
clutch. It came in clutch because them games, bro. So you have to like enter and get coins, and some of them were like 8 quarters per game, which is like $2. And I'm like, it's weird because I don't know how it what the equivalent is of like if you go to Dave and Buster's and you spend $30 on a card, like you know, because I know different games. Some are like 15 points, some are like 2. So like I don't know what the actual monetary value is of those points. But yeah, like especially me, bro. You know, I'm like on to the next one. I'm like, all right, I'm done with this one. On to this one. To this one.
Yeah.
In an arcade. So like, I definitely.
I
ran
don't
through
check
it.
the price.
But yeah, it was a good time.
Good, bro. I'm glad. I'm glad it was enough because I, you know, you always want to give more, but sometimes you can't. But you know, I'm glad I was able to help at least a little bit.
You could have sent me that record player above your head, but maybe next year.
No, sir. But no, bro, that's dope. I'm glad I was able to give you a scare because I was just anticipating you being like, bruh, like you had to choose that picture or something like that. Because I was like scrolling, bro. I was like, man, I know I got a good picture in here somewhere. And then I found this one and I was like, perfect. Because
like,
it's not too embarrassing.
Yeah,
it's not too bad, but it's still.
He said, I got
where
some
you're
in the vault.
Bro, but so when I posted it, fun fact, I forgot to switch accounts on my Instagram. So I almost posted on my story. And then, but before I realized and I exited out of it. So I didn't have like any words or anything like that. And then like 6 hours later, your girlfriend's roommate swipes up on my story and is like, oh my gosh, horrendous or terrifying or something like that. And I didn't even know it still posted on my story
she
too.
told me about this, bro.
Yeah. So and then because of her, I was like, oh my God. But by the time she messaged me, I was like, a bunch of people already saw
it's
it.
It's just a picture of me.
Yeah. I was just like, oh.
That's funny. That's funny. You were just fumbling the bag all day.
Hey, but I got you confused. I got a good laugh from myself. And
True.
So happy birthday. Happy 27th.
Thank you.
Or making it to the 27th. You know, technically, shouldn't we be like a year older? Because I feel like you should be 1 when you're born.
Well, I guess
that silence was like deafening.
I was trying to think because I was like, yeah, I guess you start at 0, but yeah,
like, you can't be
start
0.
at 0 and then you go months. Like you're a day old and then you're 2 days old and then you're a month old. You know, because technically right now I'm like, if you really wanted to like get down to the matter of fact, I'm like 27 years old in 3 days. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's how it works.
Anyways, I guess
I don't know. I ain't
I'll
create
settle
the age
for that
system.
answer. No, I'll settle for it. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to be there, but I was able to go to Michigan, visit my girlfriend's family, so that was cool. Her mom has 2 dogs that made love.
2? You mean 70?
No, she has like 5 dogs, but 2 of them made love and made the 8 cutest little puppies. They were literally adorable.
8 out of 1 time?
Yep. She actually gave birth to 10, but 2 of them died, you know, in the womb still.
Wait, how does that work?
I don't know. But that like
there's no way there's 10 of them up in there.
There are. She gave birth
crazy.
to at once, bro. And apparently they're only pregnant for like 2 or 3 months.
That's insane. I didn't know that. I mean, I'm probably dumb and like this is probably a commonly known fact, but I did not know that's how it works.
I didn't know it either. I thought I knew I knew they could have multiple, but I didn't know they could have like 8. I always thought it was like, oh, you have like 2 or 3.
I mean, yeah, humans like you can have like quadruplets and stuff or whatever it's called, but 8 is a lot.
Yeah.
It's also not a human, but also a dog is like, is it a small dog or it's a big dog?
I mean, it's like a medium dog. It's not anything huge,
medium?
but it's a boxer.
Anyways.
Like anyone that knows dogs, it's a boxer. So it's an average sized boxer, you know. Excuse me. And those puppies, bro, there was one, she had my heart. She was like, every time she'd be cuddling up on me. She was the only one that would actually sit in my arms. And like, we took him to the vet, and she like slept on my lap the whole time, but like stomach up, like relaxed. And it was fun. It was good seeing her family. We had a good time. I love my girlfriend's family. I don't know if I said that. That's why we went up there, to visit her family. But that was great. But it was a great time. So we both had fun weekends. So, yeah, now that we're caught up with our lives, before we do our final thing, because I guess we're turning into a rating podcast. We rate coffees, now we're going to rate.
I'll explain. I know. I mean, I guess you're right. But
Because, look, I had a good idea for the movies, but I'll explain that later.
Yeah.
So,
did you have something you wanted to say?
I had something to clear up. Because
you want to clear the air?
I guess that sounded worse than I intended.
I know everybody's been talking about it, bro. So just tread lightly.
Yeah, bro, I know. No, but so fun fact: Tyler and I have a shared notes, and we have
a lot of shared notes.
Yeah, we have a lot of shared notes, but this specific one is about just like topics and ideas and things that we would like to talk about on the podcast. But because we both can really run our mouths, we never go through any of them. And this list, like, I can't even find the stuff I'm looking for anymore. So I was like, shoot, I think we should just bring some little stuff up right now to clear up this list.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be down. I originally created that when we first started this podcast because we are like just going straight off the top. Like, we're not planning anything except like, obviously the rating things. We're like, okay, we'll explain the album and movie thing in a bit, but like coffee, we're like, hey, we're going to get coffee today and rate it, right? But like in terms of the actual conversation part, like none of it's planned. No. So I was like, okay, let's create a shared notes because one, I don't remember stuff and Gabe doesn't remember stuff. He probably remembers a little bit more than me. But like, for example, like if something happens in the week, like just write it down. If you have a weird dream, write it down. Like if you have a random thought and you're like, oh, this could be an interesting question on the podcast, just write it down. And then, you can either skim through it beforehand to kind of give you ideas or like if me and him just like somehow, someday, 100 years from now, run out of something to talk about. We could be like,
let's
be
really
to
mad
our
at
notes.
you for that to happen.
Yeah, we're just like, what's your favorite ice cream?
So you just
I was like,
memory.
let's just have that. So, I mean, if you're down to go over a couple, I'm down.
Just a couple, not too many, unless you had something you wanted to talk about.
No. Aside from the album ratings, I mean, we covered pretty much a good amount. So, what are we at time-wise?
38.
Okay,
so
cool. So, yeah, let's do a couple, and then we'll do the albums.
All right, bet. So, it's their first time living too. Is that me or you? All right, so this note is it's their first time living too. Oh, I think that's me. See, we also don't organize well. So I don't even remember. Okay, so this one was me. Okay, so it's their first time living too. That's something that someone said to me that, like, I think we always, as, like, society and just as humans, always forget that our parents and our grandparents and our aunts and uncles, like, just because they're older and, like, they might be put in charge of, raising a kid and, like, providing for a family, like, they also make mistakes because it's also their first time going through this life and trying to figure it out too. So I feel like we always have a tendency to be like, how could they do that? How could they mess this up? How did, like, you know what I mean? Like, always think the negative of, like, how are you that dumb? Or how, whatever the case may be. Like, I think it's something that we ought to remember that it's their first time too. They're also trying to figure this out. They're also human, and they don't have all the answers, although they might say they do. But so that was just a good point that I put in there.
Well, and it's such and it goes both ways too, bro. And like, it's hard. Like, watching movies for me nowadays has been such I don't know what it is. It's just a weird experience because I watch it and like, I just get in, like, I start thinking about, like, if this scenario was real, which I guess movies are supposed to make you think. But, like, I was watching one the other day, and like it was, I think it was Almost Famous. I didn't finish it because it's a good movie. I didn't finish it. Sometimes I just I like have to stop halfway or whatever. But it goes both ways because her son was like in his teen years, and he was like changing from when he was like a little boy, and she was like, we used to be best friends as a kid. Like now, and I'm like, bro, I'm like thinking about it. I'm like, as a parent, it's got to be so weird because like. It's not always like this, but let's say as your kid going, when they're a child, like from ages up until maybe around 13, like they're your best friend. They like look up to you, they admire you. You're like their superhero. And then when they start to get into their teen years, maybe they start to change, and this is when they start to like develop a personality based upon their friends and who they're hanging out with at school, and they're changing, and like they don't want to hang out with their parents anymore. The parents aren't quote unquote cool to them anymore, and so like. You're dealing with the fact of like this person who's like looked up to you and has been like your best friend in a way to you, like doesn't want to hang out with you anymore and doesn't want to. And like, of course, I feel like they always come back around. Like we all go through our teen years and like we just want to be with our friends and we want to be free and we want to be young. And then like you get to your 20s and I'm like, dang, man, like I wish I could be like chilling with my mom more, like hanging with my mom more, like now that I can't, right? But it's got to be really weird for the parent to like experience that, like have somebody who is just like you're teaching them how to live life, and then all of a sudden they just kind of turn on you one day, and like, and it's to varying levels. Obviously, there are some that they just want nothing to do with their parents. There are some that like still love their parents the exact same and treat their parents the exact same, and then there's some that's like, I love you, but I want to do my own thing. So like that's got to be a really hard thing to deal with as well as a parent, because at the end of the day, like it's another relationship that you're building with this person. So that's got to be a really weird thing too for like, being a parent and like seeing your kid just become a different person than what you've raised them to be, because obviously it's like, I even think about it sometimes. I'm like, bro, what if I have a kid one day and they want to be an actor? And I'm like, I know, what I'm currently going through and like the struggle. And I'm like, man, I don't know if I'd want them to go through that struggle, but I'm also like, no, but like that's taught you so much. You had to live these experiences. You need to go through these struggles on your own. Like I can tell you everything, and our parents, they try to tell us everything, but like that's one of the big things. And I don't know if I've written it on there too, but I'm like, everybody has to learn for themselves, bro. Like you can listen to every advice video in the world, and your parents are going to give you advice, friends are going to give you advice, teachers are going to give you advice, but like a lot of the times until you actually go through that experience, that's when you'll be like, like they were right, or like they were right, but it's a different situation, so it didn't end up as worse as they thought it would,
Yeah.
But at least from my experience, like, and from what I've seen as well from other friends, it's like, bro, people just, until you've been through something, you don't realize how it personally affects you. And I feel like that holds such a different weight. Rather than just being told something, So I think it's just like it ties into that as well. But I'm like, no matter what, like one day we're going to give kids our advice. Like, we don't do half the dumb stuff that we used to do as kids. You know what I mean? So like, what if one day they're like, man, like, I want to go out drinking with my friends and stuff. And we're like, okay, but be safe, be careful. But like back in the day, we were that same kids. It's like, yeah, let's go out and like rage and have fun at the club. You know what I mean? And it's like, obviously they're worried and concerned. But like, I think sometimes as we get older too, we can forget that like that was us at one point too. Like we just wanted to be dumb. We wanted to be dumb and young and stupid and just have fun to a degree. I mean, like I said before in a previous episode, like we weren't doing any crazy stuff. Like, there are different levels of crazy and going out and having fun for sure.
But I think that is very much so on like, not always, but it's how you raise them. But I guess it's like you were saying, like the kid still chooses to do what they want with them.
Yeah, and like depending, I feel like once you get to a certain age, your friends influence you a lot more than your parents do. And if your parents like are those type of parents that are like, no, you're not going out. No, you're staying in the house. I'm saying like, you're going to want to rebel more.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? So, like, yes, there's different ways, but I'm like, it's weird, bro. And, like, I think that's the one thing that scares me the most about parenting is just, like, finding a way to manage those ups and downs and and change adapt your relationship with your child as well, you know. So, but I mean, it's an experience, bro. Like, and that's the thing. Like you were saying, like we think our parents have it all figured out, but like they don't, bro. They're just learning as they go along too. Like nobody taught them how to be a parent. Like even if you have good parents, like doing it on your own has got to be such a
doing it on your own.
experience.
But at the end of the day, it's impossible for you to copy and paste the kid. Like there's no
exactly.
way that
or the
your
situations.
kid was it's everything. Like just because you could have every perfect lesson in the book, that does not mean that's actually how your kid's gonna respond. That doesn't mean that's actually how your kid is. That doesn't mean and there's way more curveballs that can be thrown aside from just personality. All right, cool. So that was the first one. Let's see. This one might be a fast one. Are you a fan of rainy days?
Okay. I think that was me because
It was.
Personally, I'm not, unless I'm like, it's hard. Unless I'm in a really, really lazy mood and don't want to do anything that day, like I'm not working and I just want to watch movies. Okay, they're great. But for the most part, like if I am off of work, like I want to be out doing stuff, or like I want to go on a walk or a run or go play basketball or something. Like, I want to do something outside because usually when I'm at work, I'm inside all day. You know what I mean? And especially in LA when it rains, like the streets just get flooded easily because there's not a good system for that here. And it's just nasty out. Like LA just looks like freaking Gotham when it rains. So for me, like personally, I don't, but I know a lot of people do. So I was just curious your thoughts on them and the people watching this thoughts.
Do you like rainy days? So I am I'm such an indecisive person. It's hard for me because I agree. I don't like the fact that like it's gloomy outside. It's gross. Florida, the second it starts drizzling, everyone forgets how to drive for some reason. There's a lot of accidents, slippery roads. It's a bummer on the mood, but the benefit personally, one, I sleep way better when it's rainy. I can take better naps. I feel a little more relaxed sometimes. But it's just because of my own personal life, I'm never really home. I'm always on the go. I always got to be here and go there and come home, take a shower, go do that and stuff like that. So I leave a lot of stuff undone, like just normal basic chores, like laundry I don't do. I mean, luckily my girlfriend basically does my laundry for me now. But before it was like, I got laundry, I got to clean my room, I got to whatever the case may be, I gotta, read this book that I've been wanting to. I find myself only doing those when I'm like trapped at home. So rainy days are not my favorite. No, I'm not like, oh, I love me a rainy day, but I do appreciate them every once in a while. But if it's on a consistent basis, no. Like I could never live in like Seattle or something like that.
No, never. I don't know how people.
I'd get
bro.
seasonal depression. I would get depressed.
Yeah. Because, like, even here, it doesn't rain a lot, bro. But, like, if it rains for, like, a weekend, I'm like, bro, like, come on. Like, this sucks, bro.
I agree. All right, next one. One more.
No, I think we should go into the album because we still got to set it up. Chat about it.
We spent 10 minutes talking about that. It's their first time, too.
Yeah. That was a good one.
I bet.
So, going into this new rating thing. So I had an idea because obviously Gabe loves music. I love music too, but I think he loves it a little bit more because he wants to do that professionally at whatever level he wants to do it at. And he has like album covers on his wall. I love movies, as you can see from the movie posters behind me, and I'm an actor. But we both have a love for both of those different artistic forms as well. So I was just like, and I also want to get more into like listening to full albums because a lot of the times, unless this person is like my favorite artist or like one of my top artists, like I don't usually listen to an album full through. I kind of just like skim through, see what songs I like, and just listen to those. So I had a thought. I was like, hey, we should like do like album ratings because one, that'll force us to listen to more music, expand our catalogs, listen to different artists, get a little bit more variety. And then I was like, we can also do movies as well because like that'll force us to watch more movies and like get out of our comfort zone and watch maybe like different ones that we would have never thought to watch before. Or just like some classics we haven't seen yet, you know. And I thought it'd be cool to just give our opinions on them. We could rate them and see like if other people agree, if other people disagree. But like this is basically like our rating. So if you don't like it, I mean, you can kick rocks. We don't really care. But I'm going to give you
Kick
an
those
overall
rocks.
guideline of what that's going to look like. So just for the people listening, obviously this isn't going to be in the short form, so you got to listen to the full episode to get the rating system. So basically, these are like the main things for it. We're going to do the album first. We'll explain the movie when we do the movies. We haven't come up with that yet. But for albums, our rating system goes as we're rating based off of replay value. And these are things that are important to us. So yes, it will affect the album score, but like these are like the 4 that we think is important to us as like as the listener. So like if you rate albums differently, cool, understood, but like this is what is most important to us. So replay value, which I think is a huge thing for albums because you can have an amazing album, but if like, I mean, you know, if I'm not going back to it, then like it doesn't really hold much like weight for me in that sense. Like I'm not listening to it on a daily basis. So yeah, you made an amazing album, but like I don't really care to play it a lot. You know what I mean? So replay value, lyricism, obviously, like how are the bars or like how are the lyrics, the flows, the melodies, what are you saying, all those different things. Instrumentals, so just beats or like different melodies or harmonies or whatever's going on in the background of the song, obviously. And then the listening experience. Like, we obviously, like, I don't know about you, Gabe, but like for this, I've listened to this album that we're going to rate right now 4 times within like this week and a half.
Yeah.
So like,
about.
how was the listening experience? How did it grow on me? Did it like not grow on me? Did it like kind of taper down a little bit? Did it get better? So the listening experience, I think, is also, full through is a big part of, the album as well. And then basically we're rating those each out of 10. And then we just divide by 4, and that basically gives you your score if you do math. But basically, just to quickly go through like the ranking system, a 0 is terrible, a 1 through 3 is okay, 4 to 6 is good, 7 to 8 is great, 9 is amazing, and 10 is perfect. You would change absolutely nothing about it. And then we're going to give our top 3 songs on the album as well, which are like our personal favorites, not necessarily what we think are like the best lyrics or the best beats or flows, like just our personal favorites off the album and what I would assume we'll go back to the most. And then any notes we have, obviously, we'll give along the way as well. So the first album we're going to be doing to kick this off is Damn by Kendrick Lamar. And this actually goes because the reason I wanted to do Damn first, or we kind of like talked about what?
You did the Damn album?
Yeah.
I thought it was the M.A.A.d album. Because we
Bro.
already...
Tell me you're lying right now.
I'm not lying.
You can look through our texts, bro. I told you
I'm going
so many
to
times.
right now. I'm going to right now.
Oh
That's
my
so
gosh.
funny.
Gabriel.
Well, hey, it'll be better now because now we can rate 2 albums and then we can compare when we do the opposite.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's what we're going to have to do. But that wasn't the intended goal here.
No.
I got to tell this guy like 5 things how to... Never mind. I'm going to get into all that. Okay, so I guess we're not going to... I was planning on just like giving you our... like one rating, but like we're going to have to obviously do this individually now. So, yeah.
I literally right here, April 6th, Saturday. Okay, so GKMC. Yeah, bet.
When?
April 6th on Saturday around 11:53 p.m.
Maybe I was looking at it differently, but if I look at...
Bro, that's so funny.
Because also, like, at a certain point, you had asked me about something. You said something lyric-wise, and I was like, that doesn't really match up. But I was like, I don't know. Maybe he's just interpreting something differently than I am. Can you find...
I'm looking for it.
When we first talked about it.
That was when we first talked about it. April 6th.
Okay. So originally our format will be just going back and forth and rating the same thing.
Yeah.
But we're going to be doing different albums today, quite obviously. So, yeah, I mean, do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first?
I can go first. That's fine.
Okay.
Just because the damn album is newer, so like I'll do this one because mine's the older.
Sure.
Bro, that's honestly so funny. Like, what are the odds of this actually happening? All right, so personally, just because I don't know, I love Kendrick. I honestly have more respect for Kendrick now.
I'm going pee really quick.
Heard. Honestly, I have more respect for Kendrick after I listened to, because I did listen to the damn album when it first came out all the way through. Granted, I was in like high school or middle school or whatever, so it was a while ago. But so this album, which is Good Kid, Mad City, this album is the album I listened to all the way through. So my replay value, because I think that's what what we start off with, is honestly, I like the album, but I'm giving it a 4, just because it's not what I would normally put on. It's not. I don't know. Like it's just as simple as that. Like good songs, and I have my favorites. It was a good album, and it might not make sense with the rest of my ratings, but it's not stuff that I think I would catch myself listening to often, aside from when I had to do it for this rating. The lyricism, though, I did give it an 8. Oh, so number 4 is on the lower scale of good, because 4 to 6 is good. And then the lyricism, I did give it an 8. One, because I enjoyed Kendrick's storytelling. I think it's very interesting how I don't know if they're actually voicemails, but I think it's really interesting how he adds these recordings and these voicemails and stuff like that of his family and his life into his music, because I think it gives it a little more, it's almost like you're watching a play or like a little musical. And I really like that. So I think that takes skill, like being able to incorporate a video that can't necessarily be edited as much to keep it authentic, and then use that in your own lyrics. And I know he has some bars in that thing, and I know a lot of them flew over my head, and I know I caught
Probably.
some. So that I gave him an 8 on that one. Then as instrumentals, the beats, I gave it a 7, which is the lower half of great, just because they were good beats, but there are some songs with all rappers, but especially this album, that I'm like, what about this beat did you hear that made you be like, I'm going to rap on this? Because some of these beats were like, not... I didn't think they were anything crazy. Like if I listened to that beat, which is probably why I'm not like a worldwide famous artist, but that I would have never like picked. I would have never been like, this is the song I'm gonna make a hit.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I respect him for that, so I gave him a 7, just because he was able to do something really cool with even smaller and less intricate beats. I feel like he really took that less is more and like actually did something good with it when it came to his beats.
Yeah.
Some of them. And then listening experience, I was torn, but I rounded up to a 7, just because the first time I listened to it, I was like, dude, this is a long album. I thought I was done. I saw like 3 songs. But then and I had a lot of questions. Like I didn't really get, I remember texting you, like it's the first song starts with a prayer, and then the album also ends with a prayer. But the first song after the first prayer, the song that like it's part of had nothing to do with it, and it was like honestly kind of inappropriate. So like I didn't really get it. And from what I understood, it was kind of like his journey into, it seems like it's Christianity. And it's just like how his life, it was just more of like a storytelling of his life, and then like how it ended was this. I don't know. It was cool storytelling. I don't know if that was exactly the message that he was trying to portray, but that's how kind of like how it felt. Like it was like the waves of life through, I guess, his faith.
Yeah.
And like his life experiences and how that messes with him. So all that added up, divided by 4, is I apparently gave it a 6.5 overall rating.
Ooh. I mean,
Yeah.
I've never listened to that album full through, but I know it is, like, some people consider that one of his best works.
And I agree. Bro, everything was high. It was just my replay value that brought it down.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for my replay value, it probably would have been like a 7 or an 8.
Sure.
No, it would probably been an 8. You know what I mean?
And I think that's going to be like, I'll probably say this with mine too, but I think that's going to be the asterisk for us for some people's music. And like, listen, again, this is based on our personal music taste. So like, yes, that's bringing the album rating down, but like we're rating it from our opinion, from our standpoints. So like, I feel like that's a really big thing. Like if I give your album a 10, but I never listen to it, like how meaningful is that to me? You know what I mean? So like, you might give it a 10. You might listen to it every day, but if we don't, like, I feel like that's an important factor in the album, you know?
I also feel like when something has a high replay value, you're a little stricter on how you rate those songs.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like, it might have been a great album, perfect score the first time I listened to it, but then when you listen to it, like, how fast does it get stale? You know what I mean? And then you're just like, this isn't really that, anyways.
And this could also change over time, So maybe in a year from now, we'll re-rate the album and see where we're at. But anyway.
Yeah. And then the 3 songs, because I know it's a great album. I actually got stuck between 4. So since we did different albums, I don't care. I'm going to do them all. I'm going to do all 4. Mm-hmm. And this is no particular order. This is just the order that they're actually. No,
you got to give it in order, bruh. Come on.
Okay.
Stop playing.
Dang. You're a brat. Okay, so for number 4, I guess, I really like Mad City. I thought that was a banger. That was one that I feel like I could probably replay a lot. The number 3, I'd probably go with The Art of Peer Pressure. I really like that song. I didn't think I was going to like it that much, but because that one, I liked it after I listened to it a couple times.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so I guess maybe that's 4. And then Mad City's 3, so I'll adjust that for all the haters already in the comments. And then, so number 2 is Money Trees. And then number 1, which I don't know if is a popular opinion or not, I think I just got blown back by his artistry, and like it was the second song on the album. So it literally went from like this confusing prayer song to this song, and then this song I was like, oh, okay, I get it now. And it was the Backseat Freestyle.
Oh, I'm surprised you didn't have Poetic Justice up there,
bro. I think it's because Poetic Justice was so overplayed, like for the past couple years, that to me when I listened to it, I was like.
I get it, and like that's the thing. I'm trying to go in with like an open, like if I didn't hear this song,
and that's the hard part.
But it is hard. It is hard. So I understand that.
And
but those are all good ones.
And that's another thing too, where it's like I was really trying to be like, if I had to replay, I don't think I would have replayed Poetic Justice that much.
Sure.
Because it's such a interesting vibe. Like I'm not in that specific vibe all the time. Like it's not necessarily a hype song, but it's not a slow song either. But it's not super like musical. It's just like a flowy, you know what I mean? And I don't know. I don't listen to that all the time.
Yeah.
But I think I'd listen to these more. Anyways, now to the damn album.
Well, I also think it's a couple of notes I want to share is for people out there that only listen to albums one time, for even just, I mean, I always do this, but even just with this album and seeing how like my ratings changed, my song choices changed in my top 3, like you need to give an album at least 2 or 3 listens before you decide to judge it. Because I know people that even just listen to a couple songs like, nah, the album's trash. And I'm like, bro, one, stop it. But even if you listen to an album once through time, like, no, you have to listen to an album multiple times, different setting, in the car, at the gym, on the beach, like wherever. You know what I mean? Before you can actually give like a definitive ranking. Obviously, we're doing them a little bit faster, but we're at least doing it justice and listening to them in different settings and listening to them multiple times. And I think that's such an important thing with music.
It is.
And even movies too.
It's one of those things that it's like it has to grow on you. Like that's why so many artists, like for example, like not trying to go on a long tangent, it'll be fast, but like Tyler the Creator, Mac Miller, like those are two people that I think that I personally, when they were popping, like I was not necessarily like vibing with their stuff, but then now that like I've grown and like my music taste has changed, I'm like, yo, these like two artists were so ahead of their time.
Yeah.
That like their hits now. You know what I mean? Like if they released that now, it would be just as big of a banger as it would have back then. And that's the thing too, is like with music, you gotta let it ferment. You gotta let it grow on people. You gotta, you know, you'll miss things the first 2 or 3 times you listen to it because you're just listening to it. Then you start getting familiar with it, and then you're like understanding it and absorbing it. And then by that time, that's when I think you start getting like a good good opinion on it, like a valid opinion on it, because it's just it's a
you shouldn't be able
game.
to speak.
Yeah.
And also I'm like, it is interesting because you know you're rating an older Kendrick album, and it's like for me, like my favorite artist is Drake, right? So I obviously know that like Take Care, Nothing Was the Same, If You're Reading This Is Too Late, those are some of his best projects to date, if not his top 3 projects. I don't necessarily, I still have songs in my rotation, but like, I find it interesting to think how I would rate those replay values as well, because like, obviously I listen to his more current stuff more frequently than I do his old stuff. Even though I think his old stuff is amazing work, I just don't replay it as much because it's not like...
It's like memories, bro.
It's not now.
Forget.
Yeah, exactly. It's like there's so much new stuff and like, you know, it's a new vibe, it's a new sound, but like I obviously know that some of his best, so... It'll be interesting to see, like, once we go back. And I'm going to try and rate it, you know, fairly and kind of with a certain mindset. But anyways, so going into my album review of Damn. So right off the bat, I'm going to start with the listening experience, which was really, really good for me. I definitely, like I said, this is my, and like, you know, hate all you want. This was my first time listening to a full Kendrick album, like full through.
Me too.
And he was a lot more creative than I expected, to be honest with you. Like I always obviously hear he's the best, he's the GOAT, he's the best rapper of all time, but I thought he was really creative with the storytelling, with the way he set up songs, with just the different levels that he used in songs.
Bro, I agree.
He really is good about bringing his own style and flavor and combining a bunch of different genres of music into one and bringing it to rap. So for the listening experience, I gave it an 8.5, which is in between great and amazing, because it wasn't perfect. Like there are some parts where I was like, okay, you know, this is good, but it's not like, you know, it's just kind of dragging a little bit. But yeah, so I gave that an 8.5. Instrumentals, I also gave an 8.5 as well. I think the beats were really, really different than what I expected. He plays with a lot of different instrumentals. He changes up the beats a lot in this album. I do think that some of the beats were a bit lethargic, and they were just kind of like, I think it was almost what you were referring to, like, I don't really hear where you're hearing this. It was just kind of a little bit like monotone. Mm-hmm. And so that's what docked it down a little bit. But for the most part, the choice of beats and instrumentals were really, really, really good. And so that's why I gave it an 8.5. It's in between great and amazing. They were very well produced and very well rapped over. For the lyricism, I give it a 10. And again, I think there is probably a lot of things that flew over my head still because I wasn't sitting on like Genius, like looking up every bar. No. But I think he brings really, really good storytelling and levels and different experiences and different situations and different aspects of life to this album in particular. And he does bring a different sound to rap than what most other rappers do. And he brings a lot of life experience, and he brings a lot of emotion and feeling, and especially in this album with like, you know, the track titles, you know, alone can show you that. So I gave it a 10. I really think lyrics wise, it's a perfect album in that sense. And then here's when we get to the asterisk of the replay value. I have it sitting at a 5, which is in between. It's the middle of good, because while there are a few songs on here that I will go back to from time to time, I didn't find myself going back to this album anytime in this 2 weeks when I wasn't going to like listen to the album for this rating.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like, oh, I really like this song, I want to play it. Granted, this is a few years after, and like, I've obviously heard Humble and DNA and Love a lot. So, you know, obviously those are great, you know, more mainstream hip hop songs that you would typically replay. But even when they came out, like, one of those is in my top 3, but I didn't like find myself going back to this album a lot. And I never really found myself going back to these songs. And that could just be like, I don't know, like maybe Kendrick's just not my specific sound. And like, obviously, you know, that's why my replay value isn't there for him. But I gave it a 5 because I didn't see myself going back to it a lot. And I don't really know if I will, other than like my few favorite songs, you know. But out of 10, you know, if you rate all those 4 out of 10, it'll give you, it gives us an 8 out of 10. So I think that's, and honestly, like, pretty good rating for this album. I know some people think it's a perfect album. And like, again, if you take out the replay value, it's probably a lot higher. It's probably around like a 9-ish, maybe 9.5. I don't know the math of that. But yeah, I don't think it's a perfect album. Like I said, there are a few beats and a few songs that just kind of like fly under the radar and are like, okay, like it was good. And I feel like that is with every album. It's hard to make a front to back perfect album. So like, you know, not saying that like that's the easiest thing to do. But yeah, an 8 out of 10 is what I gave it. And I think that's honestly a really, really good rating for an album. I think one of the things that was really big for me learning about Kendrick is he brings great energy to his songs. Like almost every single song, like you could feel his energy and his passion when he was rapping. And I do think that a lot of rappers lack that in today's industry. So props to him. I really, really think that's something he has above other people. I think he also does a great job of mixing up his sound. He has really different levels to it. He's got slow tracks. He's got fast tracks. A lot of the time he is rapping really fast, so it's hard to like hear what he's saying, which can also be a bad thing. But he does a really nice job of mixing it up. And there's not a lot of repetition in his delivery, which I give him props for. Like, he's really finding ways to make his sound unique, make his raps unique. And I think that is something that sets him apart from a lot of rappers today. So I give him a lot of props. And, you know, I do look at his rapping a little bit different now. And I think, like, being a hip-hop rap fan, like, I owe it to myself to listen to somebody who people consider one of the greats. So that's why I wanted to do Kendrick first as well. So overall, it was a great experience, and I do think an 8 out of 10 reflects, you know, my experience with the album. My top 3 songs, which was a little bit hard, and I just want to shout out 3 songs in particular before I give my top 3, which are XXX, Fear, and Duckworth. I think are the best rapping performances on the album. So again, this is not me saying these are the best 3 songs. No, I'm ranking my 3 favorite songs. But those 3 songs, like, his rapping is just off the charts. Really, really top level stuff. But starting off with number 3, I have Element. I think it's a really good mix of rap and, like, just catching a good vibe. And it has some really good source lyricism. Like, he's really saying some stuff. Number 2 is going to be Love, which I think you know the song. Just love. Yeah. It's just such a vibe, man. I know it's a really replayed, and obviously it's an overplayed song for a reason, but it's such a good track, and I think it's something that's so different for Kendrick because it's like he's rapping, but like it's not this like super crazy energy and like going in, like he's just vibing. He's got this chill beat, this nice melody, this good flow.
Bro, and that feature,
the feature
it's like
from
an
Zakari,
angelic
like,
voice.
yeah, it's just a really, really well produced song and something that you could listen to on a daily and not get sick of.
I agree.
You know, sometimes the rapping stuff is amazing, and when you're saying these insane lyrics and bars, but you don't always want to listen to it on the daily. It's kind of more of a specific thing, so that's why I give it that. And my personal favorite song on the album is God. It's just a really, really interesting rap song. Like there's so many levels to it. His chorus is really, really catchy, but it's also a really deep song. And he brings such a great energy, such a great performance to it. And I think it's just a really fun song and a really good way to mix up rapping and like almost making it this hip hop soul. It's got a really great energy and vibe to the song. And it was just my personal favorite and one that I can see myself going back to a lot. So those are my top 3. And I really had a good time, you know, rating this and listening to it and getting to, you know, listen to an album from somebody's discography that I haven't really listened to a lot. So it definitely changed a lot of like these, just whatever I thought Kendrick's albums were. Like I definitely like understand now why he's considered highly. And this was considered to be a more quote unquote mainstream album from him, from what I've heard. I mean, of course, there's still like deep lyrics and stuff like that, but this was his one that a lot of people consider more mainstream than his others. So I'm curious to rate other albums of his as well and see where this ranks in my album ranking for him. But yeah, I had a lot of fun with it.
Bro, I'm really excited now. I think it was a good thing that we got like the miscommunication, because knowing what you think of that album and knowing what I think of this album, when we're hearing it, I think it's going to be fun to compare a little bit, like already, in the sense of like before it was just going in blind and it was just me. And you know, same for you. And now I'm like, oh, he really likes this song. I'm like, is it really that good? So I'm like, I'm interested to see how
also,
I'm gonna.
True. I would also like to try one too, where we listen to the same album and then and see like.
No, that's the
it
plan to do. Yeah.
Sure. But yeah, I think it could be a thing where we switch back and forth because it is interesting. Yeah, now we're going in being like, oh, like I remember he said this and this and this. Like it could be interesting to take this route as well. So yeah, it was a happy accident, and maybe it's something we'll actually like end up doing for some albums as well.
Yeah, we'll see. But now I'm excited to listen to the damn album, because that's probably what we're gonna do next. This is I'll listen to that, and then you listen to this one. So then you can just get
maybe I don't know. We'll see. I don't know if I want to do the same artist back to back.
I agree, but I feel like we might just have to bite the bullet this one time. But maybe after the movies.
Yeah, I mean,
you know, not this week, the next week.
True.
But now that I know that we're like, you know, doing such a detailed opinion about the albums, I'll come with a little more details.
Well, I just wanted to be able to like, you know, explain some of my reasonings behind it. So I gave this a 5, and people are like, you know.
No, you're fine. I'm just glad I remembered song names. If you know anything about me, like I don't remember artist names, song names, album names I didn't even know existed for
That's why I gave you a template to write it down.
Yeah, no, actually. But anyways, I think it'll be cool. Next week we're gonna do movies. My idea was honestly kind of like what happened with the albums, is I give you a movie and you give me a movie. We watched both and then rate both at the end.
Can we try one of the same and then do that?
Well, no, we'll both watch both movies, is what I was saying.
So we'd be rating 2 movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we could.
It's either that or we're just gonna take turns picking movies, because like I know you have a lot of movies that you want me to watch, but I also have movies that I want you to watch.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, it just depends, because it's like depending on like time and scheduling and stuff like that. But maybe we'll see.
So I guess you'll have to tune in next week to find out if we're doing 1 movie or 2 movies. So make sure to stay tuned.
And if you
want to
like
do the
this,
outro?
let us know. Yeah, sure. If you like the album rankings, let us know. If you have anything that you think we should add, again, it is our personal opinion, so we'll of course, give our thoughts and opinions on whatever you think. But if you think there's something that we're missing in our album ranking, let us know, and maybe we'll consider it and add it in.
We probably won't, but we'll try.
Yeah, drop your rating below for both of these albums so you can see what you think about it versus what we think. And make sure to tune in every week. We'll be here chatting some stuff. And make sure to follow us, subscribe, share, tell your friends, tell your family, tell your nephew. I don't know, anybody.
Make sure to send our videos and audios and short clips or whatever you're watching us on to your friends. See what their opinions are. Do you think they agree? Maybe this is the perfect way to bond or ruin friendships.
All right, well, we'll catch y'all in the next one. We'll see you then.
Peace.
Peace.